right, here we go. Season 2, episode 18. I'm Billy Mills-Kern. I'm joined here with the Zoo Crew. Would it be fair to say chieftain?
Yeah, Chieftain. Chieftain of the Zoo Crew sounds good.
Okay, yeah, with Phil Lorrain. Phil, welcome to Hardcast.
Thanks for having me.
So you are a very important man about town lately.
Why is that?
Why is that? Um, God knows. I actually, I forgot to say this earlier. Let's. So Phil and I, listeners, Phil and I, are actually we need to back up even further. The Zoo Crew is a crew, another pre-modern crew in Massachusetts, and they've described themselves as the sworn enemies of Duress Crew.
Every
And
day I pray for the destruction of the dress crew. It makes sense.
and I normally do like a little spiel with guests where I say like, hey, this and that, like blah blah blah, potty language, like blah blah blah, like all that stuff. Like, do you mind if I use your real name, so on and so forth. And I forgot to establish the level of hostility that we would be following. Phil.
It's so funny. Like when we played on Saturday, like I had no idea because we were like so locked in, but we were constantly talking shit to each other, and like everybody around us was like dying laughing. Like
Were
Justin
they?
was next to us, and he kept laughing, and like his opponent was like, "Oh my god,"
Just
because we
these
were just like,
two.
yeah, because we were just like talking shit the whole time. It was so good.
Yeah. So we can either ham it up or chill it. We'll just let it. We'll just let it. It'll
Yeah,
it'll
just
it'll
let it
come.
go.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Um, Mutual respect is not maintained. There is none. Nothing but pure hostility between me and Phil.
100%.
Um, so Phil, you're of the Zoo Crew. Where is the Zoo Crew from?
So the mainly I would say the Zoo Crew is from Marlboro. That's where we're from. Uh, there's some people that are from around other areas, but really Marlboro is the mecca. Marlboro is where Webway Games is. Marlboro is where I pull a lot of my inspiration for stuff from. Shoe City directly refers to Marlboro, Massachusetts, and that's why Shoe City Showdown. When I had a record label back in the day, Shoe City Records, stuff like that.
You,
Shoe City, Marlboro.
so you and I like kind of sort of know each other from like old punk shit and like
Yeah,
oh five through I don't know 10 maybe.
maybe even a little bit earlier than that too, because I remember like seeing you around like here and there. Like I always remember you having a red bandana around your head,
Yes.
and you always talked. You always had your hands up like this, cigarette dangling or whatever, like just looking like a lurch, moving around. But
um
we had many passing moments, but we never like really chit chat too much or anything.
yeah, I have said a couple times previously that I was hanging out in Marlboro when I was like discovered that there were cool things, but before I was cool. So like everybody in Marlboro knows me at like my peak twerpdom, just
Yeah,
like like no game, nothing, just like trying to hang out with the cool kids. It was a growing period in my life.
I had them too.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. Man, I don't even know where to start because there's like so much. There's so much to talk about. But I did come up with like a little itinerary. So you do all the TO shit for Zoo Crew.
Well, yeah, like I do like the basis for a lot of like the organization of it, but like the real like we haven't done actually any like TO stuff. Like I'll put the like the tournaments together and stuff like that, or we will put the tournaments together. Like the only one that was just like me was the first one we did, and then from there it became much more of a collaborative effort. I even like talked to you one time about I'm like how the hell did the rest crew do it? Because I'm like getting angry at my guys like half the time, and you're like, oh yeah, we're very democratic about stuff and talked about it. So he definitely eased up a little bit there, but it like I definitely have the ideas and like we'll jot them around, put them together. But Webway runs everything. Like we wouldn't even really, I would never probably wanted to do any tournaments at all if it wasn't for Webway being people that like Cam and Raph played in this era of Magic. They know it very well. They were tournament grinders for a long time before they kind of moved on to other stuff like wargaming and other games and things like that. So I just had like complete trust in them to be able to run like things perfectly. If we just kind of like, brought the horses to water, it would be okay. And it has been ever since we've started. It's been fine.
So,
But yeah, like organization and stuff like that, but not really. I don't really run the events or anything like that. It's all just webway stuff.
everybody likes all your event posters.
Yeah, so the event posters are done by my buddy Tyler Smith. He goes by Animal Mothership online,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's funny because originally when Webway first got established in Marlboro, like it was like during COVID and stuff, and like the second half of COVID or whatever, like you could go out to places again. And I had got into like Warhammer 40K just because I just needed something to do when there was nothing going on. So I was like painting models and shit like that. And then I got into that, and so eventually, like I'm I come from a punk background, so it's like I like this thing. Okay, how can I like do something for this thing? How can I build community for this thing? And then I'll start doing it. So that's I like we was playing some Warhammer down at Webway, and I'm like, dude, we should do like a tournament. And they're like, oh yeah, we have like the their like version of the RCQs basically. And I was like, no, that's like stinks. Like, what if we had like a tournament where you played 3 games and like we brought food in and like stuff like that, and like much cooler. And so we started doing that, and I had Tyler do the posters for that. And I would always just come up with an idea, and I'd be like, I wanna like the big one that everybody like lost their mind with on the internet was I want an orc, like a 40K orc shooting himself in the head to kill a space marine who was grabbing him and trying to stab him.
Hell
And
yeah.
the poster looks awesome. It's just like an
Yeah.
orc shooting himself, and that space marine's like
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
blowing off in the background.
Sure.
And then like once he established that's like his art style. He established that stuff. I just always wanted to use him for. I mean, and he did posters for me when I was even doing punk shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
from
that's
there,
the
it was
thing.
like
They look like show flyers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of like really good feedback from it. Phil Wynn like talked about it, and then Jim Davis like randomly. Jim Davis is a punk motherfucker. He's a good
Yeah.
dude.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, we booked like years ago. Like when I was doing punk shows, I used to I'd book a show for like a touring band, right? And I'd build like a couple local bands around it, so I know the show would do fine. And I'd leave like a spot open in case another touring band came through.
Yeah.
And one time I did a show and they had like Suburban Scum and I think like maybe the Rival Mob played or whatever, but like super sick show. And then I just got like a cold call from this chick Allison, and she was like, "Hey, my band Empty Vessels is coming around. You want to? Could we hop on the show?"
They're I've seen Empty Vessels like
Yeah,
weirdly a bunch of times because I used to live in New London, and that's their home
from
base.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're amazing.
Yep.
So like we booked this like weird pumpkin band on this hardcore show. They were awesome. Like everybody loved them, and then we kind of became friends through that. And I was like, wow, this band is sick. They were like a 2 piece, I think, at the time. I
Yep.
think they might even
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
have always been like a 2 piece, but they
Yes.
just ripped.
Yeah.
And it was like so that was like cool. That was an establishing thing. I would keep in touch with every time I see Allison, say what up, and we talk for a little bit. And then one day, Jim Davis won. He like one of his big tournament wins that he ever had. He was wearing an Empty Vessels shirt, and I was like, oh shit, like Jim is like a punk dude. I had no idea. And then I actually started following him and got into his podcast and stuff when he started it, or like not podcasting, but his streaming
Wait,
when he started it.
Jim, like who with like the coalesce gear and all that?
Yeah, yeah, straight up
He
punk,
was
punk son of a bitch. Yeah.
he was wearing an Empty Vessel shirt.
Yes, when he won, like one of his big tournament win. If you go on his Twitter right now or his X, his profile picture. He's holding a trophy, wearing an Empty Vessel shirt.
That is an extremely deep cut.
It's so crazy.
That
I was like Jim doesn't know that probably if it wasn't for him, I probably never would have got into pre-modern kind of the way I did because I had played Goblins a ton when I was a kid, and then I kind of fell off from that and hadn't played it, but like am very like in with it. Like I know what I'm doing. I can pick up Goblins, play anytime, and and then he started being like, because he had during that same era, I wasn't following him or anything like that, but he had tons of like pro tour wins with
yeah, yeah,
Goblins.
yeah. He was
So
hot for
he
a while.
started
Yeah.
playing. Oh yeah, and he started just playing Goblins again and just calling it Mog Monday. He's like, I'm just gonna do this thing where I just play Goblins, and he got me like back into Goblins. Me and my brother at the time playing Goblins and Modern and stuff, and just terrorizing like the local meta, which was full of control. We would just destroy them,
Where's
and
he
that just
from?
kept me like. Jim is from Long Island.
Okay.
Hmm
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what. Oh, that's so funny because he probably just got off the ferry. Like probably yeah, because there's a ferry from Orient Point into New London, and it drops you off
Mhm.
within like um maybe like 200 yards from 33 Golden Street. You know that venue?
Mhm.
Um,
Uh,
if you ever go to a show in or the Savage Patch, that old punk house, do you know what I'm talking about
okay.
at all?
I remember hearing about the Savage Patch
Yeah.
and like what like what was it? It wasn't pollution. It was another name for it. Consumption. Doesn't consumption play out of there or something like that? Like
I
all
don't
the
know.
time.
I saw Thou there. You cut out.
Really?
Yeah,
Am I good? Am I back?
you're good. You're back.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
Let me see. Make sure this is all plugged in good. But yeah, that was like some like
yeah.
they rule so hard. I
Um, the collab with Emma Ruth Rundle, may thy chambers be full. You know what I'm talking
yeah
about? Yeah, that's
yeah that
among
one they had the full hell one and stuff like
yeah,
that too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That collab is probably a top 10 album for me. It's one of my favorite albums
Yeah.
of all time. It's incredible.
You're a Westboro guy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We talked about that before. Yeah.
Yep.
So years ago, when I was doing like all the punk shit, whatever, we went out to Suffer on Acid.
Yep.
Went out to New York to play a show with Thou one time in like a warehouse, and the Suffer on Acid dudes were all from Westboro, like
Yep.
Ryan Lemish and
Yep.
Mark Ventrigula and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were old.
Ryan Lemish used to play Magic.
Ryan Lemish is like, dude, he lives like in Hudson, not too far from me, and he still has like some stuff and everything, and he still plays Magic like here and there. And I had him over. I forget. I feel bad. I forget about him. But like, was talking about Vintage Cube. Like he was like, oh yeah, I used to, he would talk about playing with Tolarian Academies and like Cradles and shit. And I was like, oh dude, I'll have you over. I have a whole Vintage Cube. We'll play Vintage Cube. And he came over and he was like, I had a little bit of a tough time getting up to speed with like some of the newer cards because I
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
like very up to date.
Yep.
But like, you know, knew what he was doing, like dropped right in and everything like that. And
Yeah.
it was a good time. I love Ryan. Ryan is like such a nice dude, awesome guy.
I was in Boy Scouts with him. I remember like playing
He
like
he definitely strikes me as a Boy Scout.
yeah, yeah, long time ago. Yeah. Um, cool. All right. So little yeah, so listeners, we're like deep in like central Massachusetts like name game now. This is so funny.
Yeah.
um cool. Okay. And our listeners are a bunch of nerds, although a bunch of them are from New
Mhm.
England. That's fucking Jim Davis, Empty Vessels. That's so funny.
Dude, you don't even. I don't want to harp on it too much more, but you don't know. Like my eyes like popped out of my
Yeah,
head when
yeah,
I saw it.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, oh, he's wearing a shirt with the Empty Vessels design. That is an Empty Vessels shirt. I was like, what? This is
yeah,
crazy. I
yeah,
actually told Allison about it when I saw her at Distant Castle in Worcester, like a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
years after this,
Sure.
and it was just like completely lost on her, like what I was talking about. But she's like,
Yeah.
oh, magic, cool.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's like Charlie Sheen in the Converge shirt. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's just like, what are you doing?
yeah. Like who gave him this?
Yeah. And
So
like
funny.
he probably just got it like because he was like, oh, this is extreme because I'm like being as debauched as possible. Like this must be hard. This is what like the crazy people listen to because I'm
But
crazy.
Jim Davis does he has plenty of punk points. Like he'll like he played in a bunch of bands and stuff like that, and then and he still does like a cover band like every year I think,
Really?
cover like random old punk bands. Yeah, and he once said one time, which I was like, ah, you passed the sniff test, when he's like you don't know unless you're involved, you don't know what it is to be to tell somebody and have somebody else accept that when you say, yeah, I'm in a shitty punk band, and meaning that it's like an endearing term
Yeah.
is like of just having a shitty punk band and
Yes.
not being like, oh, you're in a shitty punk band, like get out of here with that
Yeah.
fucking shit. But like, and I was like, oh, okay, Jim passed the sniff test. He knows about shitty punk band. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what it's about. It's like it doesn't, and that's kind of like what is going on with pre-modern too. Is like it's okay to do something like shitty and creative and not good because it's about showing up and creating a space for other people to show up.
Yeah, dude, even like in that whole mentality of just like, yeah, I'm just doing the thing I'm doing. Is that kid Will, who like never seen it before, and then I ended up playing Cube with him. I can't remember his last name. I feel bad, but like yeah, I played Cube with him, and he just like smoked me. I got like 3 turns deep with him, and I was like, oh, this guy is better than me at this. and he just crushed me. And then he just like, yeah, I'm thinking about playing pre-modern. And I was like, oh, what are you gonna play? He's like, I think I gotta build my own deck. And I was like, okay, I respect it, punk. And then he just obliterated me with his Sisay deck. And then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
like top aided the first two events he played with
yep,
his Sisay deck. I had
yeah,
never seen anybody run Sisay, and I'm like, this is so sick. Like he's obviously a really good deck constructor because he's like fantastic at cube. He just like crushed this
yeah.
cube that they did at
It's
DELD.
Will Moore you're thinking of.
Oh, it is okay as well more. Yeah, but his Sisay deck rules,
Yep.
and it's like I hadn't seen anybody do it. I looked at plenty of lists when I started out, and and that whole like evolution of like the pre-modern like cyclical evolution is sick because you if you look at old pre-modern lists when pre-modern just started, it's a bunch of crazy lists, like stuff that you're like
Yep.
this doesn't cut the mustard. Like you could not you can't pay the rent with that list against in most tournaments. But then you slowly see like things like change, and now like these lists like the counter burn thing, the evolution of that, like that deck was played a few years ago, like when pre-modern started. When you look at old lists like 2021 and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, this is kind of trash. And then like with a couple little tweaks, it like now it shows up in tournaments all the time. And I
Yep.
don't think that's like amazing, but like it's a serviceable deck. Like you can play that deck and you can win games for sure.
For
You
sure.
can, but it's really cool to see like stuff's like cards come into phase just because people want to play them and then kind of fade out, and then other people just like circle back to them and start to kind of squeeze the juice out of them a little bit more and make something else. I feel like there probably was that same thing that happened with Sisay, and then Will just took it and like, well, I'm gonna squeeze the juice 100% and just
Yeah.
made it like so good. Like I
Yeah.
being buried by a Sisay tutoring up a Gaia's Cradle,
Yes, I was
and
just about to say the whole
I
name
was
again.
when he did that, I'm like, you can do that, and he's like, it says card, and I was like, yep. And then like I was like, all right, I still got it, and I was beating him with one threat, and I was like, I still got it, and then he does it again next turn. He goes, get Corehaven. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like, you have this legendary tutor creature package, and you just like pack like 3 or 4 like legendary lands, which are excellent. I'm like,
Yes,
this
that's
is
so
crazy.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
just and it's just like I'll just go get a land. Like I
yeah,
just like I
yeah,
want mana. I'll just go get something. Like it doesn't
yeah. Just go.
matter.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. No,
yeah,
it's so sick.
it's so cool.
Yeah, it reminds me
Um
a lot of your corned beef hash list,
yeah.
just because you always tuning up land, staying on low resources, and it's pretty funny when we played each other. Mika, after the game, when I got up and well, when we played each other on Saturday, I should say. After the game, I got up and walked away, and Micah like was trying to talk to me, and I was like, yeah, yeah, like whatever, Micah. I got stuff I gotta do. And then like later one night when I talked to Micah, he was like, yeah, you were playing Billy, and you were like holding a wasteland in your hand for like so long, and I didn't understand what was going on. I'm like, well, Phil was like messing up. He needs to play that out. And then he's like, and then I realized you were trying to control his weathered wayfarer. And he's like, and that's when I realized he's just much better at this than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I'm trying to like squeeze his hand and not let him tutor up fucking lands.
Yeah.
Even worse, like in that matchup, a lot of times you can just tutor up lands and hold them in your hand. They're just food for to keep you outside of like or protect the other cards in your hand when I'm trying
Yeah.
to like pressure it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Pay the tax on the Armageddon later, save up for
exactly.
it,
Mm-hmm.
enable a Mox Diamond, what have you. Um, yeah, so maybe we can, uh, let's see here. All right, so plenty of shooting the shit. You hosted an event on, actually, I don't even know where to start because like I'm always glad to see you, and then we run our mouths at each other like pretty aggressively,
Yeah,
and it's pretty funny. Um,
yeah.
when I first met you, I was like, wait, like I think I know this guy. Like Nick Mayo's telling me that I know this guy, and like he's wearing his fit. Like, all right, like what's going on? And you were immediately abusive to me. Um,
Sad.
and I was like, do I want to like this guy? And then it was like I understood it better, and then I was like, wait, this is marvelous. I'm having so much fun. Um, yeah. So, jeez, where do I even start? So you host these events, and you have some cool creative prizes. I
We
recorded,
try to.
yeah, I recorded at one of your events, and at on Halloween. Um,
Yep.
and that was really cool. It was like I don't know, like episode. I don't know. It was like 6 episodes ago, 10 episodes ago. And you gave out an All Hallows Eve for Halloween. That was very
So
very festive, very cool.
yeah,
Um,
want to do the Halloween thing, and we thought of stuff, and I was like, listen, let's do a costume contest, and we'll call it the All Hallows Eve contest. And all the information is right there for the contest, and I don't think people will quite grasp it. And that it's a costume contest for like a $450 card, like
Yeah. Yep.
and then I did get a couple people message me like, wait, is that this costume contest for All Hallows Eve or for the card All Hallows Eve? And I'm like, you're reading it correct, all right.
Yeah.
What it
Yeah.
says is what it is, and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I think Connor figured it out, and Connor was like, "I'm coming in my Grim Lava Master costume. I got something lined
Yeah.
up."
Yeah.
And then he came. I think he got like third place or whatever. But yeah, that we want to do something fun like that. I think that we're gonna do that basically the Halloween event like every year because like everybody had so much fun. It was
So
really
sick.
fun dressing
Yeah.
up and doing something like that. And I
Yeah.
love to give bounties on people too.
Yes. And
Uh,
you, this last event, you gave a full set of 40 paint lands.
yeah. So
I think that
the
was so cool.
I mean, it took a little while to get there, but like basically, we had after we did the Halloween event, we're like we talked about some stuff, and then Clone was like, I want to do we should do an event and just call it the land grant and just give like out a fuck ton of lands. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then like I was like, and then people were talking, and I was like, no, that idea rules. I love
Yeah.
that. Let's do that.
Yep.
And he's like, and Clone immediately goes, we'll give it a full set of onslaught fetches. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. And then we didn't buy them, and then Magic Online, Free Modern came to Magic Online, and then we went to go buy them, and I'm like, yeah, it's like $2,800. Like, I don't know if we can do this. So that was like the first like iteration of it, and
Yeah.
and then we started like like moving stuff around. Like it took like almost a month and a half to get the pricing down how we wanted it, and then and we were going around all this stuff, and then Colin's like, we should really just do the pain lands and do a full set, like a really nice clean set of pain lands and stuff like that. And then if I, like slowly I kind of chipped away, and then Gordon came up with, he's like, we should give out an Arabian Nights Mountain, and I was like, we should give out Arabian Nights
That,
Mountains. That's
yeah,
awesome.
perfect. Yeah, people love
Yeah,
them.
I'm
Yeah.
like, people love him. Yeah, like Rich Shea won one, and he was like like super excited about
Yeah.
it.
Of
And
all
then we were,
people. Yeah.
I know exactly. He's like, it's the best mountain ever made. And and so we are going through all this stuff, and then Thompson kind of hit pay dirt, and Thompson was like looking around for stuff, and he was like, "Hey, would anybody want to buy? Would anybody want to throw down on 30 Beta Mountains?" And we're like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I found a guy who has 30 Beta Mountains." And then they were talking about it in our like group chat and stuff, and then I was like, and then somebody was like, and Thompson was said he actually has 109 beta lands altogether, and Thompson got him down to like 10 or 15 bucks a land or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, we should just buy them all. And
Yep.
I was like, well, if you buy them all, we can use them for prizing, and that's like it's crazy, like because it's really like
Yeah.
those are really, and these lands were in a box never played
Yeah.
for 30 years.
Yep.
So they're all like gem mint. So I was like, yeah. So he did a lot of like kind of wheeling and dealing with that, and I think we're still kind of like talking to this guy to like get some more stuff from him or whatever. But he has like real things.
That's
But yeah,
that's the real spot you want to be, is when your gang owns like assets, because when
yeah,
you want to put on a tournament for the less established crews out there, um, this is a key point of like how to balance your books, is that you,
yeah,
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 it's tournaments don't always pay for themselves. Like part of pre-modern is like
yeah,
distributing that and like building a network so that you can, like, somebody's cool with like, oh, it's for prizing, yeah, I'll cut you a deal or whatever.
yeah.
um or like knowing somebody, knowing some artist who's like getting established, they can do some alters, what have you.
Dude,
But if you can,
like I would be crushed if I didn't know Tyler who
yeah,
does the flyers and
yep,
Amanda who did the altars
yes,
for the top eight.
yep,
Like I still paid a lot of money to like just put up the tournament with like no return on it. But
mm-hmm,
like if I was just a regular dude and just like cold calling people, there'd be no way. There'd be no way I could
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
afford it.
yeah. And to put a period on it, if you can get to a point with your gang where you are not like, oh, let's put on a tournament and then start looking for prizes, but instead to
Yeah,
like, hey, we have assets and we will dip
yeah,
into
yeah,
them for prizes and then replenish it from what you get from the tournament. That's like, that's huge. Like we what Duresco has going on right now is like I have like I don't know, maybe like a deck box full of like kind of neat charity stuff,
Yep.
like a foil treetop village and like which I think I got from you. Um,
You might have. I bought a bunch of them when they were
yeah,
pretty cheap, and now they're worth a fortune. I
yeah.
still have like a set plus,
I I
plus
think
one, I think.
I think I won it at yes, no, I think I got it at your house when we all tossed in for Vintage Cube, and then I
Okay, yeah,
three o
yeah. When
3060 would because people just handed me
yeah,
this strip mine combo deck.
yeah, you're a fucking ass. Like
Yeah.
3060. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that was
Duress Crew
fucking awesome.
finals on Zoo Crew home turf.
Yeah,
Just
that was pretty
saying.
terrible.
Yeah, pretty. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Of
But
course, you
just
thought it was great, and
yeah,
you were ho humming. I'm like, I don't even know if my deck's good or it works. And then like game one of your first thing, you're like, oh, I think my deck's insane actually.
yeah,
And I'm looking, your opponent has no permanents in play, and you have like 8 things out. I'm like, oh
yes,
yeah, yeah, Billy's deck's
yeah.
insane.
What is
He's
that?
like, I think this is an infinite loop. A couple times you're like, I think this just goes infinite. Like, can I just do this like every six? And I'm like, yeah, I think that works like that. And you're like, is my deck insane? Question mark.
Yeah,
I'm glad you beat Jay though, because
yeah.
having Jay come over and beat win in Vintage Cube feels worse than having you come over. So
I would think that I would think that having me do well is much more because I was like I'm not gonna read this fucking card. Like no.
I don't know, but like you, I don't mind. Like I very much consider you my equal, and then Jay, I feel like he's like gotten one or two over me. Like a couple times when we played, I was like, if I had played a little bit more, I could have beaten him because like I lost to him in like the first two top eights, like the first two pre-modern tournaments I played, I lost to you in the first one.
Yes.
Like when I showed up with Goblins, and we were both
Yes.
playing around like the same thing. Like you knew what I had, and I was like, I think he knows what I have, and I was like, fuck this, and
I
then you end up
I
getting me, and I'm like, he knew what I had.
I remember
I was
that
like so
play
mad.
so distinctly. That was when like Red Green Oath was being an absolute terrorist on the format, but
Yeah.
not everybody people had like heard about it. Everybody had heard
Mm-hmm.
about it, but not everybody had played against it yet. And I
Mm-hmm.
just remember like so clearly, like I'm gonna hold this Rishon Port, and I'm gonna hold this Mox Diamond in my hand because I have a Pyroclasm, and then you're like Forest, like okay, I'll play this port, like holding my Mox Diamond, I'm gonna tap down your Forest, untap, Mox Diamond. Now I have red Pyroclasm. Bye, and then it was just like oh, it was delightful.
Brutal.
Yeah.
The or the of the collar of the claw in my hand, and that's
Yes.
why I was playing the
Yes.
forest. And I was sitting there, and then I was like, I gotta hold it up. I think if I just get the collar of the claw off, I win on the backswing instantly because I had a collar of the claw and like a
Four creatures or
chieftain.
something. Yeah. Yeah.
It's something ridiculous, and I was like, and I had a chieftain in my hand and a one drop. I'll be able to call. I'm like, I'll attack him for like 30 on the swing back, and then you tap my shit down, and I was like, well, that's not good. Hopefully he doesn't. And I was like, oh my god, I just can't believe this.
I felt so
But in
clever.
that tournament, I lost in the top four to Jay, and then
I
and
think
then
I
I was
won
so
that.
mad
No,
about
I
it.
won
You
that.
did.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
won
yeah,
that. You won the whole
yeah,
thing. And
yeah.
you. I was like, we got to the top eight. I mentioned it in that article I wrote, but I mentioned it. We got to the top eight, and I was like, you know what? My first tournament, I made to the top eight. Sick. I can't wait to go home. And then you're just like, no splits, kill them all. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta keep playing. I don't even know these decks I'm playing against, and I beat one, and then I was like, oh no, I'll beat Jay, and then Jay like slowly like he just had like a couple percentage points of like format play that I didn't know about,
Yeah, he
and then
was
after
land
the
still, I think.
yeah he was going to still,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then so after that I played him again in the next Duress Crew event. And me and him were like both like 5-1 or something. No, we weren't that good. We were like 4-1, and we were basically playing for like the winning in, right? Or I think it was something like that. We are playing for the winning in, 100%. Every one of us won, and I melted him game one. I like pitched a no. It was incredible. He was playing blue white, obviously same thing, and I was like dripping out like one drop creatures and like hitting him for one, and then I did like the but he didn't think he was in trouble at all, and I ported him in his end step, and then I ported him in my upkeep, and then I resolved the chieftain, and then played a pile driver, and attacked him for 15 on like turn 5, and he was like, yeah, okay. And then game two he wins, and then game three I was still so like we were going back and forth. I still had an out. I wouldn't concede because I put a barbarian ring in the deck and he was at 2 and I could draw it off the top and win. So I was just going and we went to time, and then I was like, you know what? To get back at Jay for like I feel like I could have beat him in that other tournament. I'm like I'm not even gonna concede to him. And Jay's like, hey, would you like to concede? I'm like, there's not a chance I'm gonna concede to you, Jay. We're just gonna tie here and somebody else is gonna get in the top 8. And he's like, you can't do that, man. You can't do. I'm like, no, we're gonna tie here. It'll be. I'll feel great that you don't get to play any more Magic today, and I get to go to dinner with my family because I have to go to dinner. And he's like, I concede to you, and I was like, don't you dare concede to me. He's like, I concede to you. You go play in the top 8, and I was like, don't you do it. And I was like, I concede. And then I was like, fine, I concede. Get out of my face. Right? And I just got up from the table and conceded and like walked away. And then Jay went on to win the tournament. And so, and then he won the tournament, and I texted him later, and I was like, next time I see you, you better have that fucking Phyrexian Dreadnought you won, and you tear that thing in half, because half of it's mine. Screaming. He was
um,
like, I'll get you your half a Dreadnought. Don't worry.
wow. Before I forget, what's going on with your? So you guys put on events. Your group put on events.
Yep, yep.
And you have a website.
Oh yeah, so we have a website that Clone worked on a lot, and it's super sick.
What's the address?
It's Zukru.team, and it's basically like it was something that we wanted to establish someplace to like put the content and stuff like that. And then I forget that like Clone is like an actual like computer genius and just like totally hangs dong with all that stuff.
Just
And
whipped
so
a little something up.
just with no, he worked on it for like I can always tell when he's finished his work at work for the day, because there's like I see like edits coming up about the
Yeah,
website,
yeah.
because like he's just like working on it. And so he worked, and it's sick, and it's like it's completely dedicated to AAA, which is like, we talk about the Zukru a little bit and stuff like that, and we're gonna put up content and articles. Like I have a tournament report from Saturday, that'll be up there soon. I mean, if you don't know, I won on Saturday.
Yes.
It was
What were you
sick.
playing?
I was playing like what I've effectively come to call PBR, which is pressure black rack, and it was just like it's an evolution of the version of the deck that I've had to what it is now, because it just needed to put more pressure on your opponents to close out the games a bit quicker. But
Yeah. So
but yeah,
pitless, ritless rack is what
yeah,
Hodge calls
it's
it.
fucking yeah. Hodge Pitless Ritless is what Hodge calls it, and then like just
Rizless
great deck.
rack.
Yeah, it's like Moneyball but good. It's fun.
Money,
But yeah,
wealthy ball.
no, like honestly, it like truly is Moneyball, because like the whole idea of like Moneyball, of like how it is right. It's like every card is supposed to like punch outside of its weight. I'm like, our Dark Ritual does not punch outside of its weight in the middle of the game, and I don't care what you have to say about it. Like, it just doesn't. Like, sometimes it's amazing, and other times it's just like a dead card. So
So
I don't play any dead cards.
it's just Jund. Like that's the whole thing about like
Yeah, it's
Jund
kind of
in
Jund you out.
modern. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
just like my cards are, except they're all
which is
bad.
good.
Like I don't.
Yeah, that's what you think,
Yeah,
you think they're all bad, but when you start to realize it, every single card in the deck coalesce with every other card. Like, every card plays together in some way or fashion. Like, the fact that I get to run, so I took Jake Murphy's removal suite after a lot of time of working on it, and he just ran one smother, well, in a period of time, one smother, one snuff out, and two edicts, and then you get to pair that with four funeral charm, which funeral charm can pressure your opponent's hand when you need to, but it also can remove shitty little creatures early in the game. And so the removal package completely coalesce one into the other to be able to do like various things. Like, so you can shift gears of the deck very easily and kind of get shit done. Like, the deck, it seems like you look at all the stuff and you're like, yeah, it's kind of mid, and but like it just all works kind of perfectly in conjunction. And there was a couple like things that happened recently that really got me thinking about it, where I changed like my philosophy, because like Brian Koval played a video where he was talking about like pre-modern, and then at the end of the video he was like, yeah, I just don't think like Hypnotic Spectre like cuts is like good enough anymore in like in kind of sense of the format. And I was like, I think it is, but and then he went off on this whole spiel about it, and I started to kind of get what he was saying, the sentiment that it's just not enough. And that's when I was like, I have to be putting stronger stuff around it to be able to get the game done, and I can't be playing as much control. I need to be playing more like you said, like Jund. like a
Yeah.
Jund type of thing, and
Yep.
that's when I put in Nantuku shades, and that kind of like started, which the Moneyball was already playing and stuff like that. So I moved those in, and I felt okay about them, and then Micah sent me a list with that somebody was playing some Plague Bearers out the side, and then Knights of Stormgald. And I didn't, and I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Knights of Stormgald, it's cute, but it's Natuka Shade's just better. And then Clone saw the list, played it, 5-0'd with it in like 2 hours, and I was like, you did what? And he's like, yeah, the deck like hummed with the Knights, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna play those then. I didn't even
Night
test it before the tournament.
Night was huge. Like
Dude, against you, I wrote in my tournament report how you said that creature's pretty good. Then you went to your turn, you shuffled your hand, and you went, that creature is really good, and
yeah.
because you just couldn't do anything, like
Yep.
it stopped your entire game plan, and you couldn't
Yes.
remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I
And
hated it.
it's I know I look at the creature and I hate it. And I'm like the 2 mana for a 2/1. It's like so bad, but
It's
like it
it's
just was so perfectly good. It lines up.
it just carries like so much weight in this really weird way where it's like
Yeah.
I can't go around it because I'll just feed if I'm going wide,
Feeding
then
it creatures.
I'm feeding a creatures, you're giving a first strike, you're not giving a shit. And then if I'm like going tall, you'll just kill that with a snuff out, and like that's fine, whatever, that's just how shit lines up. But it's like am I like who plays anything besides fucking lightning bolt and swords? Like that's kind of it. Like yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
bit of like, is snuff out non-black?
Stuff out is non-black.
Okay, there
So
we go. And then it's like there's really not that much. Like nobody plays terminate, and then after that
yeah.
it's just like I don't know, man. Like gem bomb, like battle mage, like accepting
hmm
burn, of course, blah blah blah. But like
Yeah.
it's just
It's
like
it's not great against like it's okay against goblins. It's certainly not better than Intuku Shade against goblins, because that's totally fine. But like it's just so good against like every other mid-range strategy that's trying to leverage green and white that it just finds a spot. And not to mention like the times where I've played it and then like beaten up on replenish, and then they've played a wave, and I'll be like, oh, perfect, and then they just like have to play a parallax wave out to like just like regulate the board, and I'm just like night, and then they're like, oh
oh
no, like because
well
like I'm
yeah,
like
well fuck me then. Yeah.
exactly, like they just can't target it. I'm like, ah, okay, great. So it was funny because I didn't get to test it like at all before the tournament. I just put it in, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna run with this, and I think this is like all the thought I've been putting into it. I think this will probably be fine. But the funniest thing was the Plague Bearers up the side, and I only played one, which really made Brad mad because Brad was convinced we had really close games, and I annihilated Brad. Bradley Stone, there's a gravestone in Marlborough with his name on it because I obliterated him, and he was like, the games are really close, and I'm like, Brad, they weren't, and he was like, yes, they were, you don't even know what I had. I'm like, and you don't know what I had, the games were not close. But he managed to like he like rushed out an angel, and I played a Plague Bearer, and just like 1 mana kill that angel, and then he had to like choose between his angel and his, because he had a Sylvan Safekeeper, his angel and his lands, and he was like, I can't believe to just let this thing go. And I'm like, well, you can save it with your land, and I can blow it up again because I had another black mana open. And he's like, I can't believe this. So that happens, and he's like still in shock. He goes to his turn.
I can see Brad doing this. Like I can see his like the look on his face. This is just
No, it's so good because I do that. He goes to his turn. He's just like, I can't believe that Plague Bearer, and he's like, all right, call the herd. I'm like, cool, you done? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'll pay 1 black to blow up that call of the herd token. And he's like, this is crazy. This is great. Like it didn't even occur to him that it also killed the token for 1 mana. And then he was just like, what? And then so obviously the game was over in a second. And then I went to sideboard, and he's like, that card is just nuts. I can't believe it. And I sideboard, and I just take one out of the deck. And he's like, wait, you're playing some in the main? I'm like, no, I just play one in the sideboard. He's like, you played one? And he was like so mad that like I only played one. And I'm like, yeah, I just played one. I saw it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll keep this hand because I have some other removal spells. Wasted Disrupt. I'll pressure your hand. I'll hit you with a turn 2 Smog, and then I'll play this little funny little guy, and he'll wipe up all your shit you're trying to do.
it's kind of wild because don't I don't really have a huge problem with any one of the creatures individually, but having to it's like a Punnett square of just
Yes,
like
that's
shit
exactly what I
shit that
told you.
sucks. Yeah. It
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It's like it all coalesce together, and it just makes you get
yeah,
enzymes collaborate. They got a mixture.
yeah.
They all come together, and like I mean, you should see all the like obviously the list one, and then tournament, and then like I guess Hodge said they trench coated it like later that night or something like that, and they do a 5-0, and then somebody else played it the next day, but they added a swamp. And they cut one chain of smog and they 5-0'd with it because like I guess and then Ben told me like a couple days later he's like, oh yeah, a lot of people are talking shit on your deck, and I was like, why? And they were like, oh, because you just didn't play enough black sources, and I was like, the deck does fine. Like I don't know, like I don't understand what they think is going on, but
I'm
the
looking
deck
at
is
your
totally
list
fine. But
now. You are on just 14 swamps.
no, and
Um,
that was the big thing that like for a long time they're like, yeah, you got to play 15 swamps in your blacklist. I'm like, you
I
don't.
I would play I would play 18 swamps in this deck if I could.
No,
Like,
you
yeah,
don't need to.
no, no.
It's fine. You don't need to.
I'm a Karstenite. I wouldn't. Let me think, because you have okay.
Arsenite, the deck is fine.
Let me think. Knight. You're okay. So your double black pips are Bane of Living, Hypnotic Spectre, Knight of Stromgald, Withered Wretch. That's a lot. But
Yeah, I mean,
you're not really trying to hit and no Dark Ritual. So you're not.
but yes, there's no dark ritual. But like the way the games roll out, like I get to
Yeah,
play like 5 perfect free spells. I get to play Snuff Out and 4 Wastelands. And Wastelands are a spell that sometimes taps for mana because I use them in such high volume just immediately to get rid of stuff
yeah,
to disrupt my opponent. If I can
yep.
disrupt your lands in your hand, I'm probably gonna take you down. And so just like that is like a lot of games roll out. If I pick up my hand and I have a plan in my hand of how I'm going to attack the game, because the games just come down to me trying to put you in this place. Like I design a place where I want you to end up, and I just try to get you there. And if I know if I get you there, I can end the game. It's like with hippies. My hippies never really get killed unless I'm running. It's my only option, and I'm running it in play because I'm like picking your hand. I'm making sure that the coast is clear. Then I get my hippie, and then they'll just take over the game. It's like
So
that, and that's like the whole thing why I didn't like Moneyball was just like using a dark ritual to put a hippie in on turn one and being like, I hope your deck doesn't kill my guy because it's all I have. Like,
yeah,
get out of here.
yeah.
Like hit like
It's not a good plan because it's
no,
40% of the format is playing swords, and then like
yeah,
another, I don't know, 10% is playing lightning bolt, and it's like,
yeah,
is am I really just going to start this, like choose this play as my like on first principles? This is my plan. This is my busted
hmm,
start. Is that like get
yeah,
like use all of my tempo, and then just go all in, and then you're like, cool man, shock, untap.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
exactly. Like,
yeah. It's not very
not
impressive.
even a lightning bolt, a shock. That would just I just
Yeah,
pick up my deck and
yeah.
leave.
Seal of fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So you I've been seeing you. Let me think. What have I seen you play? I've seen you play Goblins. I've seen you play Eminent Domain, which I think is bad. And I've
Oh, thank you. I
seen
appreciate that.
and I've
You and most of the internet thinks it's bad too, but I keep
where
iterating on it and trying to make it better.
I think it's a worthwhile pursuit to like
Yes, of
examine.
course, it's a worthwhile pursuit. It's like it's
Of
like
course,
it's
William.
yes, yes, of course it is. Like we're talking about like I'm trying to like we talked about having like trying to push the meta in directions and do punk shit. It's a punk shit deck. Like
That's true.
it's
Fair.
obviously not optimal of what's going on. I'm always like revisiting it and trying to like fine tune some things. I've taken a couple ideas from other people about like stuff and went from there. But yeah, I mostly my main thing was goblins and that's just like autopilot. But that gets a little that's like playing burn for too long to me sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
I just like see like I'm really good at like holding my like figuring out what my opponent's playing and then like holding like their deck in my head and like I just like see how the games like play out ahead of time and like as soon as they're not going like I think like I'm hoping that they will. I'm like I'm just gonna lose this game. I'm gonna lose it in like 7 turns. And like so that kind of like drives me crazy with goblins sometimes. I just feel like I've done it all a million times. I don't know.
You,
But but then I went to
what do you think about
what's up?
survival in goblins? I just put together survival goblins. It's pretty fun.
I know Chris was playing it or messing around with it. And then Phil Lorrain was messing around with it too. And I was like, yeah, I could see doing this kind of stuff. But you need to be good. Every time we talked about it, like you need to be good at Goblin math, which is like just different from
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
Magic math, and then
Yep.
you need to be good at like survival stuff. So like
It gets pretty weird when
yes,
like there is like a very simple like turn one birds or turn one lackey and then like
hmm
turn two survival and then you just get dumb and
yeah,
there's no difference between 1,000 and 1,000,000.
yeah,
But
well,
there's some
yeah.
like
The problem is
weird
I
shit with like I'm gonna go survival up my Skirk prospector so I can play ringleader so I can have enough cards to like discard for the second lackey trigger so I can get
yeah
siege gang and then kill you with my sharpshooter for Exaxes.
yeah
Yeah, it
yeah
seems
like
hard. Yeah.
the thing that like drives me crazy with it is I look at what's going on the board. I look at what they have, and I was like, and my Goblin math brain kicks in, and I'm like, you have to be able to win right now. Like, how can you not win right now? Like, there has to be a line to victory right now. And then I like, and then I see as like the decisions that they would make and stuff like that, and it doesn't happen. And I'm like, how can you have not won right there? And like, I just feel like I don't know. I think the deck almost like confuses me a little bit because I just see like goblin material and I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you the game's over, the game is won. Like
Yeah.
you can do it from right here, and
Yeah.
then they don't do it, and I'm like, oh, because they're actually not playing goblins 100%. So it's like I don't
The thing that appeals to me about it is that the goblin two drops are such ass, and the like I was looking at Sylvan Library for a little bit, like being able to filter lands to the top so you get like sick ringleaders. That seems cool. Um,
Yeah, no, that's Marcus did that for a while, and I tried it a couple times playing Sylvan Library just in Goblins. But then I liked this because the second deck I really played, I saw one of Fran's videos, and then we were kind of talking about it. And well, I sent him a message, and we were talking was like a Magnivore deck, was like
yeah,
Magnivore
yeah, yeah.
Oath,
Oh
which
yeah,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
that
I
for
remember
a
that. Yeah.
while, which is like a land destruction with
Yep.
Magnivore and stuff,
Yep.
and
Rampant growth.
and
Yeah.
yeah, rampant growth and all that stuff. I went on some different iterations, but by the end of it, like I basically kind of thought I pushed the deck as like far as I could, and then as far as red green goes, and then I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna retire this for a while. But it
Sure.
did lead me to do a couple cool things because I like was just like foiling out the deck as I went, and I got like foil Terravores and foil Magnivores when they weren't that cheap, when they were pretty cheap, which was
Yeah.
cool. Well,
So
foil Magnivore.
my perception of you when I first met you when you were playing the rampant growth, um, not when I
What you
first
thought I was dumb? That's what it was. He was like, "You're
not
playing
no
rampant growth. This
not
guy must be
dumb,
an idiot."
no not dumb, poor. I thought you were poor.
Just choking on my water. Yeah, no, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. As far as Magic collection goes. I mean, I've been
No,
playing since
because
like,
you have well no you have power, like you have
mm-hmm,
a
mm-hmm.
fully built and you have like really everything like
Yeah, most everything. You have what, one thing that I've had that I don't have anymore. You have a tabernacle. I don't have a tabernacle anymore.
I'm trying
But
to move it,
yeah,
listeners. If you're, I'm trying to like move this thing and turn it into a bunch of old school stuff. I think,
you were
or
trying to turn it into two cradles and plus change, and I almost took you up on that. And I was
yeah,
like trying to work to make it happen, and then holy smokes, I would have got killed on that deal.
yeah, because
Now
cradles
the cradles are a fortune, and
they're 1,200 now or
it,
something. Yeah,
something. No, I think they're more than that, but I mean,
maybe
whatever.
13. I don't know. It's up there. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. Um, so no, I didn't think you were poor. I would not. I would not
Yeah,
make that joke about anybody I respect, which is why I made that joke about Phil Lorrain. Um,
thank you. I appreciate that.
let me think here. And you got into Mono Black. You top aided Eternal Weekend this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So what? Well, the whole how the whole thing kind of started, where it came to that, basically. So I, so Fran had the built played a Magnivore deck, and I liked it, and I was like, I think there's some other stuff there. So then I started talking to Fran, and I was like, hey, what if you rebuilt Magnivore and you like kind of took it seriously, and we talked about a couple concepts, and then he did, and I liked the deck, so we went from there. So then I kind of like that's where me and Fran kind of like built Francisco Paul Yusek, I believe is his name. I butcher his last name all the time. I feel bad about it, but he's a great dude. And so we kind of started the dialogue there, and we're going back and forth on the deck, and I was showing him little changes I made, and then he ended up getting like tipped to write an article, uh, building decks in pre-modern, and he used like the entire experience when me and him were going back and forth about the Magnavore deck, which I was like, oh, that's so sick. And he like sent me the article. He's like, check this out. This is, I basically used what we did over the last couple months, and very cool. And then and I was like, would you want to do that with another deck? And he was like, oh, what are you thinking? And I was like, well, I have this theory that Dark Ritual is shit, and in black decks, and Chain of Smog is excellent, and nobody plays it. It's the best card I think nobody plays. And he's like, I don't think it's that good, but we'll see. And then we he like drafted up like a first thing, and then we kind of like fine tuned some stuff we want to do, and then he played it, and like basically everything I thought was true. Like Chain of Smog was way better than he thought, that either of us thought. It's so good. Like you just snap the backs of so many of these combo decks, and it's so hard for people to send it back. I'm not casting it unless I'm okay with it coming back, and like a lot of times, like you set up these lines sometimes where you go turn one rack pass, and they're like, oh, that's not very good, and then you go turn two Chain of Smog. I'm like, you want to play in the dirt and start getting lightning bolted? I'll do it, you know. And sometimes people take me up on it, but and that was kind of like where that whole thing started. And we went through a bunch of iterations of stuff, and then I played the deck at last LobsterCon, and I went like 6-3, 6-3 or something like that, like both days or something, something around. Maybe it was like a 5-4 and a 6-3, or I did fine, but I didn't like top anything. And I was still kind of figuring out the deck. I was running like Headhunter at the time and stuff, but both days I lost to Stasis, and I hated it. I didn't really know how to play against Stasis, but I hated the fact that I lost, and I was like, I got to figure out, oh, this deck has to be built better to beat Stasis, and that's when the idea of the Rishan imports came in, and then I put in Rishan imports in the deck, so it was a bunch of swamps, 4 wastelands, 4 Mishra's Factory, and 2 Rishan imports, and then slowly just kind of evolved on things, and then Clone started playing Moneyball and really liking that, and I was kind of like feeling out like some of the creatures and stuff that he was playing and changing around my list and everything. And then, like I said, finally it just kind of came to where it was at. But the rack is so good. The rack is such a mirror breaker when you're playing against the Moneyball decks and stuff like that. Because they go pretty empty-handed pretty quick
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
They're jamming. They have to jam and like attack you and attack your hand, I should say, and go, and then you just get a rack out, and you just see the soul leave the body like immediately.
Yeah.
And they know the end is nigh.
Ready? New brew idea. Ready? Magnavore.
Okay.
All right. Machine Head, but instead of building it like Jund, which is what it wants to be, instead build it like a cross up between Moneyball and Oath Ponza.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you get some interesting. I mean, there's probably some really fucked up black sorcery speed things that like you can do that you can leverage very well.
Yeah, like Rancid Earth, which is a sweeper and a land destruction spell.
Yeah. I didn't even my mind didn't even jump there right away. But I just love when you have the Magnavore package, you can play Pillage, and Pillage sometimes is just so goddamn good. Like you can just take lands out, obviously, but the fact that you have the main board upside and destroy artifacts is so good against random matchups.
It's both halves of the red green Oath Ponza, and like what's the two things that aren't part of like the fucking terrorism? It's the Pyroclasm and the Naturalize. Well, you get those already attached to your Stone Rains. You're all set.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you get on color like Pain Land and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, that pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you get it no matter. I think anything in pre-modern you're gonna get it.
Let me think.
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
It's the new brew.
Think about that.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Started here. It started now.
Started here. Let's move on to AAA. We've been playing some AAA.
It's the best.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
I mean, so to really go back, you told me about AAA. He's like, yeah, we're playing AAA. We're playing for Ante. I'm like, I played that when I was a kid. So I started playing basically like the end of 1994, maybe 93. Like the Dark had just come out, and I remember being like excited about it because like we started like we're playing Magic and stuff like that. I was so young. I was like 6, I think, at the time.
What was your graduating class? Hang on. What was your graduating class in high school?
06.
Oh, you were 06? Okay, I was 08, so you're a little bit older than me. Okay.
I'm a little bit older.
Yeah, but this makes a little bit better sense now. Yeah.
So what happened, but like, I mean, nobody should be playing Magic that young, but like the thing is, I hated reading as a kid, and I'd read a magic card, and my parents liked that. And then my brother was 7 years older than me, and my dad is a big nerd. Like he loved D&D and LARPing and fucking and magic and all that stuff. So like and he has three brothers who all played magic. So it's like you know they all got into it at the same time when we're all doing stuff. So like I remember like playing as a kid and then like playing for Auntie, like just because like oh yeah we're playing for Auntie with each other and stuff like that. So like and that was like so far out of my mind because like when we were young too, like after a while when you're young, like that was the whole big first Magic backlash. They're gambling in school, and like I remember when that whole thing went on and Magic cards were like banned for a while, and then like you came up to me like years later, and you're like you should play this AAA thing, and then I was like yeah. But you sure playing for Auntie and stuff, and I'm like, oh, Auntie's cool. I like to live on the razor's edge. I'll play for some Auntie. And then you're like, yeah, you draw on the cards, and I was like, I'm not playing. I'm not drawing on any cards. I got all like you're destroying the cards. Like I just was like whatever. And then you circled back around to try to get me to play AAA again. And then honestly, thing that like kind of sold me when I was like, God damn it, I like Bryce a lot. Like Bryce is just a like Duress Crew Bryce, New York. I just like him a lot. And when
He's a likable guy.
he's a likable guy. He was smoking a lit cigarette in what was like a windstorm, playing AAA on the sidewalk outside of LobsterCon, and I was like, this is hilarious, and like I want to be doing this.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'll do this. I still didn't do it, and then you came up to me one time and you just like took a bunch of cards. You're like, here's some blue cards. So you're gonna put these together. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm building you a AAA deck right now. Here you go. Here's some blue cards. Here's some green cards. Maybe get a little something out. I'm like, I'll build my own shit. And you're like, yeah, if you get like a Force of Will, you can throw that in there. I could probably give you a Force of Will or something like that. And I was like, I have my own Force of Wills. I don't need your Force of Wills. And then I did end up making a Merfolk deck with Force of Wills.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. No, I've lost to it.
A week of playing, I lost one of the Force of Wills to Jesse. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then once that Band-Aid was off, I was like, yeah, I don't care anymore about anything. Let's just go.
Yeah, I AAA is what is kind of getting me interested in old school. I'm very intimidated by old school. I really want to.
Same.
Dog, I want to play Juzamjin so bad. It looks so fucking cool. I want to play 4 Disenchants. I want to play fucking Sinkhole.
Dude, I remember Juzamjins flying around. When I was a kid, like the iconic cards that I remember like at my kitchen table in my house were like my uncles playing Juzamjins against each other. My uncle's playing like alpha fucking icy manipulators and me being like, the card is so dark. It looks amazing. He's holding this orb. Like just all these like super cool old iconic stuff. And I was like, this is just awesome. But yeah, it's funny because AAA is the same kind of gateway drug for me. Like where it's super fun, you can play whatever, you just do your thing, you mash games, you think of a crazy deck idea, and then like I actually kind of, and then I was like, at first I was mad when I was like, well, how do I figure out what deck to build? And you're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. You just kind of like build your own deck, you figure it out yourself. And then and I was like, well, that's cool, but it kind of gatekeeps the format a bit, which kind of brings us into like what we ended up doing. So we touched upon it earlier, but the Zoo Crew website, it's basically was just made as like a AAA stepping stone. There's a bunch of tools that Clone
in Zoo Crew. Yeah, there are a bunch of tools in Zoo Crew.
Because Clone's like a super genius. So he made like basically the Karsten mana tool is like on there, I believe. If it's not live, it is there and it will be live at some point. And then he has there's the card finder, so you can type in the name of a card that's in AAA, and it will tell you all the printings that are AAA legal and their prices.
So cool. I haven't.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on, zoocrew.team. Everybody should go to this website. It's just like, okay, so here's the Worcester Accord.
The Worcester Accord, which is what we talked about. That you were like, I got a problem with you, buddy, at the event. But that was so basically, we play the rules AAA as whoever invented them, the old school guys that came up with it and everything. But we have some tweaks on them after. It's basically all the tweaks that we have made is because of Nick Pin, because he's such a spike and he's such a like a magic bully. Like he's like so unassuming but so goddamn good, and just can like identify like a meta problem without even having touched anything. is that like we were all running four strip mines and four waste and four not wastelands, four strip mines and four Mishra's factories and shit like that,
Sinkholes.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then we start playing and it's like every game is just mana denial no matter what, and then
Yep.
they're like okay, we'll tamp down a strip mine. We only play one strip mine now, and then Nick's like, okay, cool. Then I'm loving these four factories. Then we start playing. You're like, okay, four factories without more strip mines is absolutely insane. Like now, like the factory is running the format, and then we're like, okay, well we'll tamp down the factories now, and so now factories like restricted to one, and then Nick's like, okay, I'm just gonna put four Mazovits in my deck because I'll just kill you eventually with a creature that I resolve, and you'll never do any damage to me. So then we're like, okay, there's like the Magic design back in the day was cool, but like there is
The
some
lands are so
land specific.
fucking
The lands are
toxic.
so
Yeah.
fucked up, and so we were like, we have to just keep all these like lands restricted. We also restricted Glacial Chasm too, just kind of like ahead of schedule because like we already had people like putting together these like combo decks that which like putting Glacial Chasm into play and then doing like random stuff
Yep.
and then like I think the one that they had was like Relic Barrier, Glacial Chasm, Howling Mine. So they were tapping their Howling Mine on your turn, so you didn't draw, but they drew two cards and could just draw into extra Glacial
Chasms.
Chasms
Yeah, yeah.
and like lock up the game until they get like a black vice and start casting wheels and shit. So you're just taking a bunch of damage on your turn, and then they just unlock the howling mines and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, this deck's kind of against. You're not doing any damage against it, and they're just like crushing you.
So and then there's darker. So this is basically
Yeah,
the Portland addendum from
yeah,
but what so this is we do diverge in that I am like
yes.
extremely pro Apocalypse Painlands.
So the whole thing with the Apocalypse Painlands, I'm totally cool with it, and I think it diversifies the format and diversifies
Yeah.
what you can build. But what I would just like to do for that is that like a lot of my decks I don't play with them, and I don't really want to for that deck. But there are like three color decks that I like have like down the pipeline that I'm gonna be like these are the decks that I play with the Apocalypse Painlands, and the decks that I want to build with them. And then when I play people like, and I do have decks that will benefit from it too. Like if I go to play and someone's like, oh, I want to play Apocalypse Pain, playing my deck. I'm playing with Apocalypse Painlands. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play my red blue burn deck. My like brain, I call it brain burn. My brain burn deck, and I'm gonna put four Shivan Reefs in it, and then like the deck will be even smoother because like basically one of the big problems the deck has is that like you're trying to play like old school. It's old school Magic. Like bunch of your stuff is double blue or triple blue pips. A bunch of your stuff has double red or triple red pips. It's hard to get that
Yeah.
mana there for you. So like I just keep that thing on me, and if somebody wants to play with the apocalypse lands, I just throw them in and play with them. But I think
I
it's just like a little pregame conversation to have.
well
To like,
I don't agree. I don't agree with this, and
of course,
it's there's a
the
point.
whole podcast was coming down to this. Me and Billy don't agree.
The point is if you have a I don't even know where to start. And I know there's not getting anywhere with you, but I just it's triple A, it's quadruple
I
A.
cut it. Okay.
Quadruple A.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not quadruple A. Most of the stuff I want to play with is the OG stuff. And like I said, I just keep the door open for things like to make these decks a little smoother, a little better, make a Jund deck like a viable thing, stuff like that. But like, I mean, I want to play with some of those. Like, I just picked up the Elder Dragons and
Hell yeah.
specifically to play in AAA, and I was like, yeah, I want to play those Elder Dragons AAA, and I want to get. I'll probably that'll be one of the decks I play my Painlands in.
Sure.
Now that I have a bunch of them, because I want a bunch of them,
Do you,
strangely.
do you where do I even start? Anyways, the Worcester Accord is that Apocalypse Painlands are legal in all cases. You don't need to talk about it. We're not the Boston old school people. This is Worcester, not Boston.
Okay.
Or maybe it should be by area code. Like if you're in,
We're
if
not.
you,
No.
if
There's no
how
need
about
for the area code
hang
stuff.
on. If you're outside of 495, Painlands are legal. If you're inside of 495, Painlands are banned.
Whatever you want, Billy. But
That's
and
that's a
like I said,
that's very fair. That's very
we
fair.
don't ban them. I'm like, they're not banned. Like if you want to play with them, that's fine.
You
I'll just probably
wanna
choose a different deck to play against you. It's no big deal. But either way, the AAA is so much fun. If you've never played it, and it's awesome, you should really give it a try. You're playing cards on sleeve. You're drawing on people's cards. You're getting like little mementos from them and stuff. Like it's really fun community thing. And now where my biggest problem with the whole thing was getting into it was that there wasn't like a real good resource for stuff. And I think now with like the Zoo Crew website, it's just like there's a sweet resource where if you're really interested in AAA, you can look at what we play, and then you have like tools to go like look up decks and find stuff. And like especially if you're building a deck and you want to, and you don't want to break the bank. Well, okay, what's the cheapest sulfurous springs I can play so I can play the other like place. I want to play sinkholes in my deck, but like if I'm going to play sinkholes, I probably want some cheaper sulfurous springs. Well, you can get the dual deck sulfurous springs, which are like $5, and
Yeah.
those are still AAA legal because they still have the same border, they still have the same art and stuff like that. I think I just like building with options anyways. Like I always like that shit.
Let me think. You got any good stories? Let's see here. I met up with you. What's the name of where did I see you last with the hamburger? The hamburgers were there. What's the fucking name of that place? The cafe, parlor, auto shop.
New tradition. Yeah, new
New
tradition.
tradition, new tradition. So
Yeah.
I met up with you. I got some hamburgers, and
Mm-hmm.
we played new tradition. I think you took something from me, or I took something. I don't remember.
I probably took it from you. You don't beat me, so it's
I
I
don't.
probably
I don't
took
think
stuff from
I.
you.
I
Besides
don't.
besides your dignity, which I'm always taking, yeah, I probably took a card from you as well too.
I don't think I've beaten you very many times in AAA. Like maybe just once.
No, I think like the just kind of the ways my decks have like rolled out have just like lined up really good against you, but I think it's just kind of
I.
happenstance.
I
The
think
new deck I have is sick,
maybe
awesome.
just
Like I
maybe just like one mountain or something like that. Like
yeah,
I think
something
no,
like
I think
that.
it was an island. Yeah, I think I beat you
Okay, yeah,
once
and you
at
beat you beat my
yeah.
Merfolk deck, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and then
Yeah,
I
you
think
go
you're
like
like
up and under me, and then like squish my lands. Like
yeah,
I took a hand with like two lands, and you killed one of them, and I was like, well,
yep.
not very good.
But then we learned that control magic is fucked up, and you're like, oh,
So fucked up. And that
yeah,
was Nick Penn teaching me that control magic is fucked up. And you know what's even more fucked up than control magic, because it's so much more splashable, is binding grasp. It's
yes,
goddamn game breaking, and I had looked at it a couple times, and then John Darling played it
yep,
like, yeah, I'm thinking about
yeah.
this binding
He be-
grasp
he
card, and
beat me with it. Yeah,
because dude, because it just happens to give your the toughness +1 on the card for some I don't know why, but for some reason it does. And then you just like, okay, I took your Saren Angel, and now the second Saren Angel you play doesn't mean shit, and I
yep,
can just attack you every turn. Like
yes.
it's so crazy. Like there's
It's
a
so
cost of
good.
you have to pay mana every turn, but God, like that was like when I made the Merfolk deck and I figured out like Dance of Many of
Yep.
just being like the fifth Lord in the deck. So if I get a Lord down, I can play Dance of Many and copy the Lord. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I never even just looking through old cards and like
Mm-hmm.
finding it and I mean like
Yeah.
this is so sick. And that the newest deck I have is a what I just call it Zoo Lords, and it's red. It's sorry red, white and green, which are abhorrent colors to me. I never play white and green. I hate them, but I will play them in AAA.
You'll lose to
And
him
it
in
just has
pre-modern.
no, not very often, but it has six lords in it, and it plays. It's all green creatures except for like a Saren Angel and the Juniper Order Advocates, which is a 1/2 knight, I believe, that gives as long as it's untapped, it gives green creatures +1/+1, and then in two cases, which just is
Yeah.
a 5 mana 2/3 that gives all green creatures
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
+1/+1, and
Yeah.
the deck performed so well when I played it. I was like, and I had this idea for a deck when I was a child, like so like the and it, no, not a lot of people aren't going to have that experience, but like from my experience at AAA, it's like I used to just look through my cards when I would
Mm-hmm.
get bored as a kid and just try to like build decks that I could never really do. I could never really build, or even if I could build them, they would never really work in any kind of circumstance. And then in AAA, like allows you this ability to like have a deck that like has a weird kooky idea that
What's
works really great.
what's your biggest AAA disappointment?
Biggest AAA disappointment?
I got one. I got a good one, but I
No,
want to hear
no.
yours.
I mean, my biggest disappointment is you crying about contract from below all the goddamn time.
Me?
And
Yeah, trying to
yeah, dude.
balance it because I just
There's
I
no reason to balance it. Just it's a busted crazy card. Just play busted crazy shit once in a while. But I don't really know if I have like a supreme disappointment. Um, it was maybe like me building like kooky decks and then playing against Pin, and his decks just being so strong. Like he just played Serenangers and Serenangels and Serendibifreets and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
just creatures that are so good on rate, and
Yep.
it just pummels you. And that was like the only thing. I'm like, how do you even beat this deck? I'm like, this is insane. And then I started beating them, and I was like, oh, okay, you
Mine
just
was
gotta like.
Vampire Bats.
It wasn't that good.
No, it was terrible. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like a common from Legends. Like that's so sick. It's
Hmm.
cheap. Like
Yep.
the one drops in the format are just absolutely ass. This flies over.
Hmm.
It'll trade with like a fucking I don't know, like a
Yeah, you do like
hippie.
that.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
And then it's like if I don't have mana, I'll tie for one with a bad moon. Not the case. Card sucks. Yep, can't play it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always like little revelations you get there.
What's
Um,
your what's your favorite AAA find? Or it's just like this card is ass except in AAA, and you're like, this is amazing.
in AAA, I mean, it's gonna be like probably Spectral Bears. I really liked, which is like it's not really that ass. It's a 2 mana 3/3, but it
Yeah.
doesn't untap if your opponent doesn't have a black permanent, so it just like kind of like time walks itself a little bit. But dude, honestly, like, and it's something I already knew about, but the Juniper Order Advocate has been so good, and I've never had an ability to play it. I've always wanted to play it. And another card that I'm building a deck around, and I'm trying to decide like how many colors basically I want to be, is the Asian Crusader, and it's a 4 mana 2/2 that gets +1/+1 for each hero you have. Well,
Okay. But Knowledge Hero
there's only
bans.
Hero Advance, right? But that's not how Hero works anymore. Hero was eroded. So Hero is a warrior or it's a warrior, it's a hero, and it's something else. So it's like it's multiple things.
It's like a
So
human
you
hero warrior.
yeah, exactly. But like
Yeah.
Hero covers like the it's literally two creature types.
Yeah.
So your pool of what you can build with it is huge. So like you can because Erg Raiders are warriors, and
Oh, that's so sick.
yep,
I
the Yoshi and
love Erg Raiders. Love
I
Erg
know.
Raiders.
So I was like, dude, black white, Erg Raiders, the Odian Soldier, the 1/3 or it's one
Yeah.
four, it doesn't
Yeah,
attack to
yeah, yeah.
attack, and I'm
Yep.
like, so like the idea was like playing out like these little hero creatures and then playing that down. I'm like, okay, this is a 7/7, and you have a bunch of other stupid shit
Yep.
with it,
Yep.
and then like obviously the banding stuff is so fucked up too. Like the couple heroes that banned is like banding is nuts. Like the way it actually works is absolutely wild when you start using it in practice.
I like
You're
I've been a big fan of Initiates of the Ebon Hand. That's my favorite
I
AAA
know, yeah,
card.
I've
Like by
seen you,
far. By
and
far.
you had one of the best AAA altars I'd ever seen, which is it was the Initiates of the Ebon Hand, and all the people on it like looking like that,
Yeah.
like all the weird like little zombie looking people, and it said join us, and then next to their names it was like 1-2-0-2-0-3, like just people like losing in a tournament bracket, and I was like, that is so goddamn funny. I love that so much.
Yeah, I that
Uh,
was Jesse ended up with that.
yeah, yeah, Jesse
Yep.
ended up with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me think. Last time I played him, I took an oubliette from him.
Oh,
Yeah, and then he was like,
sick.
"Fuck, now I need to find another oubliette." And I was like, "Well, I have a damaged one here. It's for trade." And I traded it for him for like I don't know, like just like two bad moons and some like revised swamps or something, just like
Yeah.
whatever he
No,
had. Yeah,
that's sweet. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's one
that's
of my
awesome.
favorite
That
things
you
is just like ruining the card and then trading it back to them because they want their deck
Yeah.
back to normal. It's like, well, what do you got? Pay
Yeah.
up.
I get like because whenever we play, I'm like not whenever we play, but when we do the wooden bar events, I'm always like sipping on some scissor or whatever, and I just give cards away. Like my buddy Tato, who like we have ruined with AAA. Like he only wants to play Magic if it's AAA. He's like like when we suggest about playing pre-modern or like Commander, he's like, I only play real Magic and it's always AAA. Don't even talk to me about those other formats. He loves AAA. He's
Tri-
obsessed with it.
It's
And
probably my
and,
favorite format, and it's like
it's
I don't even put money in it.
so
I
much
just
fun.
like stay. I just like stay. Like I go to stores. I rip through bulk bins, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, fucking. Like I'm looking at my AAA
Insidious
stack right.
Bookworm. I've seen you been
Oh, I
playing those
love
things.
the bookworms, and people are like,
Yeah.
people are like, I don't want to block that. And I'm like, yeah, you don't want to
So
get the worm in your
so
ear.
like
You're like,
one of the
Phyrexian
cooler
War
things that came out
Beast,
of
so cool.
First Team War Beast is great. And
Yeah.
one of the coolest things that came out of the last time we played is that Tato just texted his two friends who like have played Magic when they were a kid, and they were like, "Hey, we're playing this AAA format." He told them about it earlier in the week, and they're like, "Oh, we might come by." So then they came by, and these two people, this chick and this girl, this chick and this guy, and he calls them the Thompson twins, and they're not related, I don't think, but their last names are Thompson, and they were just like brought stacks of old cards that they had, and like we're trying to put decks together and stuff. And I ended up giving one of them a Serendib Efreet and the other one a contract from below, and they were like so excited about it. And they're like, we can't wait till the next like Wooden Bar event. We're coming.
Hell
We're
yeah.
gonna play some. And they were even jamming games with like their decks that were just like completely like they're all fucked up and weird. But like they played a couple games. They're like, yeah, I need more creatures. I thought my 20 land black deck with 8 creatures and a bunch of other spells was gonna do it. I'm like, no, not so much. You need
Yeah.
more creatures than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff is fun. And the touch upon it. So what we do at the end of every month, we're probably not gonna do it this month though. Unfortunately, we just wait till May. Is we do we call it the feeding time at the zoo, and we do that at it's the last Friday of every month at Wooden Bar in Worcester, and
You
we
better
just do like
carpool.
a
Everybody
yeah,
carpool.
yeah, you better
The parking
no you can
sucks.
no just park on the street. Who gives a shit? But yeah, it's awesome, and it's just like we just hang up. We have a couple tables in the back, and we have a room, and the food is awesome at Wooden Bar. The drinks are flowing, and they're just cool enough to let us go there and play. It's actually there's a punk thorough line there too. So my buddy Corey is a chef over there,
Yep.
but and when he originally took us out there to like check out Wooden Bar, like I had to go there for something. I think we brought their food. He also has a food truck with one of the Zoo Crew dudes, and then we brought it out there, the paddy wagon. So we went there, and then we start like walking through, and then the dudes who own Wooden Bar are there. This dude Christian and Spencer, or Chris and Spencer, sorry. And we're like talking and whatever, and they just really want to show us around, and I was like, all right, whatever, dude. So they show us like these rooms that they had. And I'm like, oh, these rooms are weird, and then they start to kind of slowly tell me that like, oh yeah, they made them. So like they made their walk-in freezer, and next to their walk-in freezer they have a room with like it's almost like harped down, but the room stays 70 degrees all the time, and it's for baking. It's for baking bread. It's to like make sure all the bread
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
rises properly when they do
Yeah.
all their baking and stuff. And then they have a bunch of other stuff that they like woodworked and things. And they show us the bathroom, and the bathroom doesn't have paint on it, but it has a clay mixture that they made and put down on the bathroom. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So they show us all that stuff, and then they show us like their pottery room, and then they show us their carpentry room in the back, and I'm like, dude, this is nuts. And I'm like, you guys made this, and yada yada yada. And then it reminded me of this punk venue I used to book at in Worcester called 97D. And so I'm there with Jake Will, my buddy, and I was like, man, dude, this place, it's like if 97D opened up a restaurant,
Yeah.
and 97D were like punk dudes too, like like a collective, like living together. Everybody had a trade, and everybody taught each other the trade, like
Mhm.
really cool, like
Yeah. Yeah.
community shit.
Yep.
And the good guy Chris is like, what did you just say? When I said that, I was like, oh, it's just this punk venue that like I used to book shows at. Like, this reminds me of it. It's like if you guys open a restaurant. And he was like, I lived at 97D. No way. He's like, Spencer lived at 97D.
And you're like,
And like
easy.
they were,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy. And then I was like, oh, this is gonna be like we're gonna have a great relationship because I had actually already probably met them like
Yeah. Yeah.
10, 15 years ago. And it's funny because then we had one thing where so I booked shows there and stuff like that, and everything was good. And I went to my own show there, and it was great. I got so drunk, right? By the end of the night, like everything went off without a hitch. All the bands got paid, and I got wasted. And then I got home to my house and whatever. So the next morning I wake up and I'm like going through my apartment and stuff, and I walk outside and there's a knight's helmet outside of my house, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my god, I started getting so mad. There was a guy who made armor there at
Yeah.
917.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody stole a fucking helmet and brought it home. Like the respect I treat these
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
and like they
They trusted
entrust me to do
you.
this.
You want to be good to
You know,
them. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I can't believe I was so mad. I was so fucking mad, and I started like yelling at people and interrogating people, like sending me texts and stuff. And then I finally called Jake, and I'm like, dude, Jake, somebody last night stole a fucking helmet from 97D. I can't believe this is so stupid. And he was like, you did, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you were wasted. You put it on, and you
Tried to
wore it all
fight
the way home.
everybody. Yeah.
No, I didn't fight anybody, but I was like, yeah, you wore it all the way home, and I had to like I was like mortified. I was like, oh my god. I had to like hat in literal helmet in hand. I had to go back to 917 and be like, hey guys, I brought this back to you. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't think I might have told them. I might have not even told them. Like, I'm sorry about this whole thing that happened. And like, I don't know if I humbled myself enough to be like, yeah, I stole this. I don't know. I had too much fun and took this helmet for some reason. But when I brought up that story to them, and they were like, "Oh, we remember that story." It was
Yeah. Like that
it
was
was a
you.
big deal. It was a day and a half of them being like, "I can't believe you let this happen." Because I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know how much something like that would cost, or how much like a because it was a full suit of armor. It probably
Yeah.
cost thousands of dollars. Or
Do
something.
you ever fuck around in like Providence, like the Olneyville like spaces? You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit. We played a couple shows down there. I mean, I knew that was like product of waste was from there big time. That was where Terry was from and stuff like that. So we did like I think we played one or two shows down there, but like not. I never really got into like the punk scene down there. I didn't not until after. There was a couple like the funky jungle stuff down in Rhode Island, um, which also was like I think it was a Westboro kid. I think it was a Westboro kid who actually they said that if I remember correctly, he went to Boy Scouts with Ryan Lemish. So it's probably somebody you know, but I cannot remember his name right now for the life of me. But he ended up moving down to Rhode Island and did shows on there at a place called the Funky Jungle.
I'm trying to think of who. Now you have me thinking, like who from Westboro would have ended what?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I'm not from Westboro. I don't know enough, but I just remember like tidbits of story because they were like
Yeah.
they were in with the Suffer on Acid guys and stuff like that, and like I
Was it?
happened to link up with them. I think.
I mean, the my immediate thought goes to Mark, except Mark was probably in Alston at the
Suffer on
time.
Acid.
Yeah.
Mark Ventriglia.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is that like if it
Yeah.
like any time anything has ever happened ever, Mark was in Alston at the time. So
Yeah. Pretty much.
yeah.
But,
Cool. I think we should wrap it up, Phil. I think we should wrap it
yeah,
up.
that's fine.
We've totally circled back to punk lore. So this has been season 2, episode 18. I think I'm here with Phil Lorrain. You just won your own tournament, and now you've got the prize support for Land Grant too, because you won all
Yeah, I know.
a full 40 set of
I
pain
won a
lands.
bunch of pain lands.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because after we did it, as soon as we were done, I'm like, man, we really couldn't have pulled off the fetch lands. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And they were like, well, of course we couldn't have. Like, just like I was just joking around. And but I already had a bunch of them. But yeah, I got a bunch of prizes going forward.
Yeah.
We'll back in the coffers and then go out to somewhere else.
Did you get tickets to LobsterCon?
Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah.
I'll be at LobsterCon for sure.
Hell yeah. We'll have to play some AAA.
Oh, we definitely will.
Yeah, excellent.
I'll be out there for a while. I think I'm going out there on Wednesday, staying with a couple homies. I have a lot of friends out there, so I could stay with them for a little bit, and then like I know we do. There is like a Zoo Crew space, like a hotel or Airbnb thing or whatever. But I'm gonna try to hit up a lot of things and see a lot of homies out there.
I haven't figured out where I'm staying yet. I didn't get like like such a fucking idiot. I might have to like.
You like helping run the thing, and you don't know where you're staying.
Yeah, I'm not like.
But you guys kind of roll deep though. Like when you guys didn't you like 10 of you stay in like a hotel together?
Yeah, we usually get a crew house, but then it's like the hours are so long, and I don't really have time to like participate in the household chores. So it's like we have like the players, and then we have like the people who have Forsaken playing to help organize, and it's like if you're in that second group, it's like I'm not doing the dishes, I'm not helping cook.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And I am definitely getting a bed. So like if you're rolling in with those like preconditions, then the crew house may not be for you, because we like to cook, and then you have to clean, and then you have to like figure out like what am I gonna do with this huge pot of fucking baked beans, like whatever. Yeah. Anyways, season 2, episode 18, Phil Lorrain of the Zoo Crew. You can find out about all of their hullabaloos at zoocrew.team. And congratulations on your recent victory. And that wraps
Hey,
it up.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Goodbye,
All right.
gang.